Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Gesa Stadium. After starting nearly 3 months ago with the first practice on the 27th of February, only 2 teams remain in 3A baseball. Eastside Catholic versus Kamiakin for all the marbles here in Pasco, Washington. Alongside Chris King, I'm Jake Eastman saying thank you for being with us this afternoon. The Eastside Catholic Crusaders are the home team in today's game, and they have taken the field, so let's get right to the lineups. First for the visiting Kamiakin Braves, as announced by their head coach, Ryan Carter. Kamiakin's lineup goes as follows. Logan Jackson leads off and plays second base. The catcher, Ty Early, hits second. Drew Ord is the third baseman tonight. He will be hitting third. Jesse Hauser is the shortstop. Andrew Castillo is in center field. Nolan Early will be the first baseman. He hits sixth. Johnny Jansen in right field hits seventh. Jacob Valdez, who had the big hit to tie the game in the 7th inning yesterday, is the designated hitter. He hits eighth. Rounding out the lineup for the Braves, it's Taylor Mackhart in left field. Pitching for the Braves, and not hitting because he is being DH'd for, is David Marshall. The defense for the Eastside Catholic Crusaders, as they are in the field first. From left to right in the outfield, Travis Olvestad, Addison Hull, and TJ Murphy in right. Hayden Meyer is at third base. Jeff Bowling is at short. Luke Shepard is the second baseman. Ryan Pollock at first. Braden Walgamot is the catcher. And rounding out the battery for Eastside Catholic, it's Blake Gillespie. Into the batter's box strides Logan Jackson. Here for the play-by-play is Chris King.
Blake Gillespie digging into the rubber as we're about to get underway here for the 3A State Championship. Thank you for joining us this afternoon here at Gesa Stadium in Pasco. It's been a great host throughout yesterday in the semifinal games, this morning in the consolation games, and here in the championship games. The 3A getting started, and the first pitch is a called strike to Logan Jackson. 2 different styles of games yesterday for these 2 teams, as Gillespie misses upstairs on an 81-mile-per-hour fastball. Eastside Catholic, a squash, to be perfectly honest, over Kelso. 13-1 the final score. They scored 10 runs in the 7th to really add on to that score, but had the lead the entire way as swing and a miss from Jackson makes the count 1-2. On the other hand, Kamiakin down by 4, going into the top of the 7th inning, rallied for 4 runs, went into extra innings in the 9th, able to come away with the victory. Foul tipped out of the glove of the catcher, Brendan Walgamot, and the count remains 1-2. Gillespie given the nod here for the Crusaders in the state championship. David Marshall will oppose him for Kamiakin. A high fly ball into shallow left field. Meyer, the third baseman, going back. He'll be called off by Bowling, the shortstop, and he's there to make the catch for out number 1. So Kamiakin, of course, being in Kennewick, and this game being played right here in the Tri-Cities in Pasco. A very good crowd on hand here representing Kamiakin. A lot of red, but that's not to overlook the blue and white, and not to forget the orange of Eastside Catholic. That's here throughout the stadium as well. The delivery is in for a strike on Ty Early. The catcher hitting in the 2 spot of the batting order for the Braves. Gillespie doesn't mess around out there on the hill. A sigh, and here's the 0-1 pitch. Good movement on the breaking ball. Couldn't cut in across the plate in time. Early in yesterday's game, didn't get a base hit. 2 walks, though, and scored one of the 4 runs in that rallying 7th inning. And there's the base hit right there. Ropes it out to left field, rounds first, and it'll be held up as Volstad picks it up the left fielder. A 1-out single here in the top of the first for Ty Early. Gillespie with a 2.53 ERA and a 3-4 record coming into the game. And it'll be Drew Ord, the batter. They went 1 for 4 in yesterday's game. A .390 hitter on the year. A left-handed hitting third baseman in today's game, as he was the shortstop in yesterday's game. But Jesse Hauser, who was the starting pitcher in yesterday's game, now moving to shortstop, and Ord sliding over to the hot corner. Really being held on at first by the first baseman Pollock, and outside to Ord on the pitch. It's been a great 2 days here in the Tri-Cities. Game number 7 starting yesterday morning. The 1-0 pitch inside, skimming by the knees of Ord. And the count moves to 2-0. At 7 o'clock, he'll be the 4A state championship. An SPSL field, to say the least, between Puyallup and Kentwood. Here's the 2-0, hard hit ground ball, but to the shortstop Bowling. Bobbles the ball, only play will be at first, and just in the nick of time does he get the throw there. At first, when that ball left the bat, it looked like a tailor-made double play for the shortstop Bowling. And after being unable to field it cleanly, it took a strong throw, and we saw his arm yesterday. A very good arm for Bowling, and he had to have it there to get Ord out at first. 2 down as Early advances to second, and the cleanup hitter, yesterday's pitcher Jesse Hauser, steps up to the plate. The delivery misses outside. Hauser likely plans to head to Lower Columbia College next year to play for the Red Devils, the 2-year school, a powerhouse NWAC program. The next pitch from Gillespie, downstairs, and the count 2-0.
Lower Columbia College, you mentioned, Chris, getting a little national publicity yesterday on ESPN with the #1 play in the top 10 countdown yesterday.
A high fly ball to deep left center field. The Volstad and Hall going back. It'll be Hall. Plenty of room. He makes the catch. And that will end the top of the first inning. As we go to the bottom of the first, no score between Kamiakin and Eastside Catholic.
Hi, we're Chris
and Anna Groneveld, local dairy farmers from Monroe, Washington.
The Dairy Farmers of Washington, along with Les Schwab Tires, are proud co-title sponsors of the WIAA High School State Championships.
The Washington Interscholastic Activities Association supports high school programs and activities that keep our kids growing in mind and body.
Today's high school students will be some of tomorrow's community leaders, and we feel it is important to do our part in helping foster an appreciation of community, responsibility, teamwork, and sportsmanship in today's youth.
The WIAA helps provide those opportunities through athletic, artistic, and academic competition.
Please join the Dairy Farmers of Washington and Les Schwab Tires in supporting young people in your community by attending your local high school state championships.
For a complete list of events and activities in your area, visit WIAA.com.
At Les Schwab, along with great prices, our tires come with the kind of protection most other places just don't give you, which includes free flat repairs, equal value replacements, pre-trip safety checks, and more for the entire life of the tire. With the other guys, well, you just never know. So why is free protection on your tires good to have?
Lifetime protection. That's our best tire value promise. Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
David Marshall finishes his warm-up tosses for the Braves, and he's ready to go, heading into the bottom of the first inning. No score between the Braves and the Crusaders. Marshall comes into the game with a 1.78 ERA. The Southpaw with a 5-1 record this year, including 1 save in 10 appearances. The lefty on lefty as the right fielder TJ Murphy leads things off for the Crusaders.
This student section in front for Eastside Catholic, waving the orange pom-poms, cheering on the Crusaders.
The next pitch just misses low, not to the liking of home plate umpire Mark Allen, a little below his zone. And the count moves to 2-0 on Murphy. The next pitch, that one up and into the zone. Now 2 balls and 1 strike. Murphy reached twice on airs in yesterday's game. Also had a single as he can't catch up with Marshall's 83-mile-per-hour fastball. And the count now 2-2. Murphy, a 208 hitter. 0-8's the 2-2. Here it comes. Foul back off of the catcher, Ty Early. Kelso winning earlier in the consolation game here in the 3A classifications. They finished in 3rd place as it's fouled off once more. They were able to beat Bishop Blanchette. Kelso bouncing back from that 13-1 loss at the hands of Eastside Catholic and earning the 3rd place trophy. Once more the 2-2, breaking ball away, and the count full to the first batter here in the bottom of the 1st inning. Thanks again for joining us, along with Jake Eastman. Chris King here with you at Gesa Stadium in Pasco. No score at the start of the 3A state championship. Murphy swings and misses, and Marshall fans him for out number 1 in the bottom of the 1st.
Now batting number 4, Luke Shepard. Second baseman, Shepard.
Marshall helped get Kamiakin to this point. He pitched in their 1st round game last Saturday. The sophomore helped the Braves beat the Mount Spokane Wildcats 11-2 the final. Marshall threw 6 strong innings, but got a big boost from the offense in that 11-2 win. The next pitch to Luke Shepard is in for a strike. A 1-1 count to the second baseman, who has a .338 batting average this season. The next delivery, check swing, but didn't go around. On the offering in the dirt. Marshall working from the far left rubber. Fires home is 2-1. That's fouled out and clanks off back in the stands. Still see some Richland players here as Richland was able to capture 3rd place in the 4A consolation game. And watching their fellow high school here from the Tri-Cities, Kamiakin, try to bring home, and not only bring home, keep home, as that state championship trophy is right here in the Tri-Cities right now. 2-2 count. Marshall looking for another strikeout. And Shepard able to resist. Like a pretty good offering in the dirt. Tried to get him to chase after it, but able to hold off. Wasting no time. Here's the payoff pitch. Fouled off. A good battle developing between these two. Marshall nods at his first sign. And the delivery in the dirt. And gives up a free pass to Luke Shepard. Shepard heads down to first after the walk. And those orange pom-poms, as you mentioned before, Jake, starting to shake around a little bit. It's nice to have 2 distinctive colors with the orange and the red. You can definitely tell who the fans are rooting for based on which color they're wearing. Now from the stretch, the pitch to Jeff Bowling is in for strike 1. To say Jeff Bowling has been a clutch hitter this year, and more recently in the last couple of weeks, would be an understatement. In 2 straight games, the Metro League semifinals against O'Day and the finals against Bishop Blanchette, had walk-off home runs. And there was a home run swing where he couldn't connect with the pitch from Marshall. Down on the count 0-2. He looks down to the third base coaching box and gets his signs from head coach Kyle Larson. A squatty stretch position for Marshall, and he misses just away. No score here in the bottom of the 1st. Kamiakin was able to get a runner aboard, but left Ty Early stranded on its 2nd in the top of the inning. The pitch swung on and missed. Bowling strikes out swinging. The 2nd strikeout here in the bottom of the 1st for Marshall. It'll be Braden Walgamot stepping up to the plate.
Batting number 20, Braden Walgamot. The catcher, Walgamot.
Catcher grabs a handful of dirt before stepping up to the plate. Walgamot was 0 for 4 in yesterday's game. hitting in the same cleanup spot that he is today. First pitch goes out of play. This Kamiakin squad finished 4th place last year. It was held at Cheney Stadium in Tacoma, home of the Tacoma Rainiers. Looking not to settle for anything less than first. Fortunately, Eastside Catholic with the same goal as well. The .362 hitter waits for the 1-1 pitch. The runner takes off, and it goes out of play. 2 strikeouts in the bottom of the first. Luke Shepard, good battle up at the plate. Full count, able to foul a couple of deliveries off. And he ended up winning the battle of wills up there at the plate. And ball 4 went by and earned the walk. Pretty good lead over at first, though, for Shepard. Marshall will come home. And this is up by the letters. Now 2-2. Kamiakin, very good at spring sports this year as the pitch is popped up, and that will head back out of play early. Takes off that catcher's mask and goes a couple rows back into the stands. Not only is the Kamiakin baseball team in the state championship, but over on the west side of the state right now in Lacey, the Kamiakin softball team is playing for the state championship as well. They beat Juanita 2-1 in the semifinals, and now playing Everett in the championship. The last update that we had, it was no score, so scoreless in the 3rd inning.
And if Kamiakin's softball team can hold on and win that game, they will finish an undefeated season on their way to the state championship. So good luck to them out in Lacey.
A baseball and softball crazy area here in the Tri-Cities. 2-2 count, 2 outs, and resisting on the high fastballs. Walgamot is able to get it to a full count. Great atmosphere here for this 3A state championship game. Scoreless in the bottom of the first. Swung on and missed. And besides the walk to Shepard, Marshall able to strike out all 3 Crusaders for the outs in the bottom of the first. We move to the top of the second. No score between Kamiakin and Eastside Catholic.
Hi, we're Chris
And Anna Groneveld, local dairy farmers from Monroe, Washington.
The Dairy Farmers of Washington, along with Les Schwab Tires, are proud co-title sponsors of the WIAA High School State Championships.
The Washington Interscholastic Activities Association supports high school programs and activities that keep our kids growing in mind and body.
Today's high school students will be some of tomorrow's community leaders, and we feel it is important to do our part in helping foster an appreciation of community, responsibility, teamwork, and sportsmanship in today's youth.
The WIAA helps provide those opportunities through athletic, artistic, and academic competition.
Please join the Dairy Farmers of Washington and Les Schwab Tires in supporting young people in your community by attending your local high school state championships.
For a complete list of events and activities in your area, visit WIAA.com.
At Les Schwab, along with great prices, our tires come with the kind of protection most other places just don't give you, which includes free flat repairs, equal value replacements, pre-trip safety checks, and more for the entire life of the tire. With the other guys, well, you just never know. So why is free protection on your tires good to have?
Lifetime protection. That's our best tire value promise. Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
Back at Gesa Stadium, to the top of the second we go. No score between Kamiakin and Eastside Catholic. In the first inning, both teams getting 1 runner aboard, but unable to cash in on it. It'll be Andrew Castillo, the number 5 hitter, the center fielder, leading it off, as Gillespie just misses with his breaking ball. Gillespie, a big reason why the Crusaders are here at this point in the state championship. It was the quarterfinals that he was on the mound and earned the victory. Castillo, ground ball, routine to the shortstop bowling. A high throw, and that one is airmailed into the Kamiakin dugout. It'll be a dead ball, and Castillo will be awarded second base. A big break there for the Braves, and they have a runner in scoring position with nobody out.
Tough defensive start so far today for Jeff Bowling at short. He makes the error that time. In the first inning, he got out of the bobble that he had, but he cost the Crusaders a double play with that initial bobble on the ground ball by Drew Ord in the first inning.
Nolan Early, 3 for 3 in yesterday's game. Pickoff moved back to the bag, and beating out the throw is Andrew Castillo. Early able to score 2 runs and had 3 singles in that game. Shortstop Bowling shadowing Castillo over at second. He shows bunt, pops it up, but the third baseman Meyer playing far enough back they didn't have a chance to make the catch. And we've seen that a couple times so far in this state tournament, Jake. On bunt attempts gone awry and turning into double plays. Really great opportunities for the offense and going as far south as it can and as quickly as it can on bunt attempts. From the stretch, Gillespie comes home. Breaking ball, swoops down low and is outside for a ball. Gillespie in that quarterfinal game against Timberline. It was a 5-1 victory for the Crusaders. Only allowed 1 run on 2 hits, picking up the victory in the complete game effort. The next delivery finds its way over for a called strike. And it's now 1-2, so the bunt option essentially taken away for Early as he waves his hands and awaits for the offering. Here comes the pitch, fouled. Down the first baseline. Early in some trouble here in the top of the second after a shortstop Bowling with the throwing error. Castillo on at second base. The 1-2 is fouled off again on the 84 miles per hour fastball. No score, top of the second. Thanks for joining us. The early going to this 3A state championship game from Gesa Stadium here in Pasco. Gillespie fires back to second base, and Castillo again back safely. The junior out there on the mound looking for his first strikeout of the game. Ahead in the count 1-2. Here's the pitch, up by the eyes. And it evens up at 2-2. Comes set, ready to go. The pitch is swung on, hit hard out to center field. Hall going back pedals, and is able to make the catch. A hard hit ball by Nolan Early. It was 3 for 3 yesterday. The difference here just hit right at the center fielder, Addison Hall.
You can take a look at the atmosphere in this game, Chris. You mentioned the fans being a little bit more rowdy for this state championship game, but the dugouts on both sides as well. No one wants to sit down. All the Eastside Catholic Crusaders are out on the dirt in front of the steps. And when we look to our right on the first base side, the Kamiakin Braves doing the exact same thing. Everyone's excited for this 3A state championship game.
Even though it's here early, on the edge of their seats, or in the player's case, on the edge of the dugout. One down, Castillo still on at second base. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Jansen. That's a base hit up the middle. Hull playing deep, will have to charge in. Castillo given the green light. Rounding third, heading home, the throw cut off. It'll be Eaton. Castillo slides in, and Kamiakin lights up the scoreboard first. Top of the second inning. After the Johnny Jansen RBI single, the Braves lead the Crusaders 1-0.
And that'll be an unearned run charged to Blake Gillespie out there on the mound. It was Andrew Castillo that led off the inning with the ground ball to the shortstop Bowling, and Bowling threw it into the Kamiakin dugout. So an unearned run in the air comes back to hurt Eastside Catholic here in the second inning.
When you get to this point in the state championship, such small margin for error. And when you have errors like that, like Bowling had to start off the inning, they can come back to haunt you. Jacob Valdez, the DH, steps up to the plate. Valdez came through with a huge 2 RBI single, which tied the game up in that top of the 7th comeback for Kamiakin in the semifinal game against Bishop Blanchette. Gillespie now down in the count, 2-0 to Valdez. 1-0, top of the 2nd. 1 run already in for the Braves. Quick move over to the bag. Not a very big lead by Jansen, but wasn't expecting it from Gillespie. Made it closer than you'd think on the tag. Here's the pitch, a hard hit ground ball. This should be 2. Bowling will take it to the bag himself, throws to first, and it retires Valdez for the 2nd out. The double play complete, but Johnny Jansen with an RBI single. Andrew Castilla reaching off an air. He comes around to score. And as we move to the bottom of the 2nd inning, Kamiakin leads the Eastside Catholic 1-0.
Hi, we're Chris
And Anna Groneveld, local dairy farmers from Monroe, Washington.
The Dairy Farmers of Washington, along with Les Schwab Tires, are proud co-title sponsors of the WIAA High School State Championships.
The Washington Interscholastic Activities Association supports high school programs and activities that keep our kids growing in mind and body.
Today's high school students will be some of tomorrow's community leaders, and we feel it is important to do our part in helping foster an appreciation of community, responsibility, teamwork, and sportsmanship in today's youth.
The WIAA helps provide those opportunities through athletic, artistic, and academic competition.
Please join the Dairy Farmers of Washington and Les Schwab Tires in supporting young people in your community by attending your local high school state championships.
For a complete list of events and activities in your area, visit WIAA.com.
On to the bottom of the 2nd inning, 1-0. Kamiakin with the lead. Hayden Meyer, the first batter up for Eastside Catholic. Johnny Jansen with an RBI single, scoring Andrew Castilla from second base. Brought in the 1 and only run of the game so far in the very early going of this game. Just here in the bottom of the 2nd. Marshall behind in the count, 2-0. Struck out 3 in the first, but allowed 1 walk. Luke Shepard, second batter up. Didn't advance past first base. Down in the count here, 3-0 to Hayden Meyer. And he slides and lands a little awkwardly out on the mound, but it looks like he's okay. That's the good news, but must have caught a divot out there on the mound or something. Couldn't quite get his footing on his follow-through. So he's going to go kick some dirt around in that spot, but a 4-pitch walk to lead off the bottom of the 2nd. Jeff Keppel, the DH.
Number 14, Jeff Keppel.
Keppel had a 2 RBI triple for Eastside Catholic in their big 10-run inning yesterday in the 7th against Kelso. Marshall misses once more. Has thrown 5 straight balls to start off the bottom of the 2nd. The next pitch, no doubt about it, gets his first strike of the inning.
Number 14 is Jeff Keppel.
From the stretch, Marshall delivers, and it's fouled out of play. Bottom of the 2nd inning, 1-0 our score. Kamiakin with the lead here in this 3A state championship game. Meyer with the lead. And the pitch once more fouled off. Travis Volstad, the left fielder, on deck. The pitch swung on and missed. Chased after a fastball outside. And Keppel strikes out for out number 1. So only 4 outs so far the Marshalls recorded, but they haven't been able to touch him. 4 strikeouts, and there's been 2 base runners aboard, including Hayden Meyer out there at first, but they've both reached off of walks. Marshall's first pitch to his fellow left-hander, Volstad. Up and in by the hands for a ball. Comes set. The next pitch, just missing low. 2-0 now the count. David Marshall, a bright present and a bright future too. Just a sophomore as he gets his first strike on the Volstad. 2 balls and 1 strike. 1 out, Hayden Meyer on at first base. Kamiakin capitalizing on an error by the shortstop Jeff Bowling in the top of the inning to score a run. Marshall attempts to work inside, but misses off the plate. Now 3-1 is Meyer, who reached off a walk-on at first base. The 3-1 pitch is poked and stopped by the third baseman. Ord throws down to second in time. The relay to first isn't there. Ord, it looked like, as he was diving to his left, might have had that ball and caught it and catch it without it bouncing. But it popped out of the glove and wisely jumped up, got the lead runner, who had to hesitate on whether or not Ord caught that ball without it hitting the ground. So they're able to get the lead runner, and that's a pretty good way for that play to turn out for Kamiakin. When you think of how well that ball was hitting, that's just a good play over by Ord at third.
And Hayden Meyer, the runner at first base, was certainly in that same thought process that you just laid out right there, Chris. He started towards second, then actually took a couple steps back toward first, thinking that the ball had been caught by the diving Drew Ord.
So a fielder's choice for a Volstad. Ryan Pollock now up at the plate, and after missing on his first 2 pitches, Ty Early calls a timeout and wants to talk to his pitcher out there on the mound. Coming out and chatting with David Marshall as he kicks the dirt out there around the rubber. One to nothing. Braves with the early lead on the Crusaders. Bottom of the second inning. The 2-0 pitch swung on and missed. That was out of the strike zone, but Pollock went chasing after it anyways. Pollock, an outstanding game yesterday. 3 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs scored out of the 8th spot in the batting order. Marshall misses once more, and he finds himself again behind in the count. The 3-1 pitch is outside, and he allows his 3rd walk of the game. Volstad goes to second. Pollock on at first, and Addison Hull, the batter.
Number 1, Addison Hull.
Hull, defensively and up at the plate, was very sharp yesterday. Came through with a 2 RBI double. Also had a single to add to it, including good glove work that he flashed out in center field. Marshall from the stretch, and his pitch home out of the glove of the catcher Early. Both runners will advance. Have to imagine that would be a pass ball, but we'll hold judgment until we see the official ruling pop up on the scoreboard.
So David Marshall here trying to settle in and find the strike zone. He's walked 3 batters in the 8 Eastside Catholic Crusaders that he has faced. And the cheer that you hear right now is because the public address announcer here at Gesa Stadium has announced that the Kamiakin girls softball team has indeed won the state championship over in Lacey. Back to the point we were making about Marshall. Marshall needs to settle down and find that release point. Not typical for him to walk people. He's only walked 22 batters in the 39 1/3 innings pitched coming into this game.
Flirting with danger here in the bottom of the second inning. Kamiakin with a 1-0 lead. The pitch to Hull is up high. Now 3-0 the count. Missing just above the waist of the center fielder. Here's a 3-0 pitch, not wanting to send him that easily to first base, which is currently unoccupied. Gets the pitch across, and the pitch count starting to inch up there for Marshall. Hasn't been an easy second inning for him as he battles back with 2 straight strikes and now has a full count. Trying to get out of trouble here in the bottom of the second. Runners on at second and third. 2 down. Here's the payoff pitch to Hull. Taken for strike 3. Marshall strikes out Hull and gets out of a jam. We're through 2 innings here in Pasco as we move to the top of the third. Kamiakin on top of Eastside Catholic, 1-0.
Hi, we're Chris,
and Anna Groneveld, local dairy farmers from Monroe, Washington.
the Dairy Farmers of Washington, along with Les Schwab Tires, are proud co-title sponsors of the WIAA High School State Championships.
The Washington Interscholastic Activities Association supports high school programs and activities that keep our kids growing in mind and body.
Today's high school students will be some of tomorrow's community leaders, and we feel it is important to do our part in helping foster an appreciation of community, responsibility, teamwork, and sportsmanship in today's youth.
The WIAA helps provide those opportunities through athletic, artistic, and academic competition.
Please join the Dairy Farmers of Washington and Les Schwab Tires in supporting young people in your community by attending your local high school state championships.
For a complete list of events and activities in your area, visit WIAA.com.
At Les Schwab, along with great prices, our tires come with the kind of protection most other places just don't give you, which includes free flat repairs, equal value replacements, pre-trip safety checks, and more for the entire life of the tire. With the other guys, well, you just never know. So why is free protection on your tires good to have?
Lifetime protection. That's our best tire value promise. Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
Kamiakin with a 1-0 lead on Eastside Catholic here in the 3A state championship game. So we go to the top of the third inning for the play-by-play. Here's Jake Eastman.
Well, thank you very much, Chris. 1-0 is the lead for Kamiakin as a drag bunt is attempted on the first pitch by Mackhart. Bare hand over at third base by Meyer, and his throw is not in time. An infield bunt single by Taylor Mackhart. Not the kind of bunt single that you're used to seeing as he popped it up high in the air, but it came down right in the perfect spot and took a high hop that Meyer tried to have to bare hand, and his throw was not in time. So Mackhart is aboard to lead off the third inning for Kamiakin. Lineup flips over now. Logan Jackson, the leadoff batter, comes to the plate for a second time. Jackson 0 for 1. Popped out to shortstop Jeff Bowling. His first time up. He squares to bunt and pulls back and takes low. 1-0. For Kamiakin, 1 run on 3 hits, no errors. Eastside Catholic, no runs, no hits, and 1 error. And that error eventually came around to score. Gillespie deals from the stretch, another bunt attempt, and it looked like Jackson was trying to bunt for a base hit as he was starting to run toward first before making contact. He waved at it and missed for a strike. 1-1, Gillespie looks Mackhart back at first, now squaring early is Jackson. A throw over, and just sliding back in time is Taylor Mackhart. Ryan Pollock holding Mackhart close at first. In on the grass is Meyer at third base. Here's a pop bunt foul back into the net. And the count goes to 1-2 on Logan Jackson. Jackson is a switch hitter. Don't see that too often at the high school level, and he'll hit from the left-hand side against the righty Gillespie. Gillespie, his 1-2 pitch is hit hard on a line. One hopper off of Bowling. All he can do is play it off his chest, and it squirts off to his left. Everybody is safe. Moving from first to second is Taylor Mackhart. Logan Jackson is safe at first base. That'll be the second error of the game on Jeff Bowling. They're going to call that a hit, actually. It was right at Bowling, hit very hard, and Bowling just had it play off of him. So they're going to give a hit to Logan Jackson, and he's 1 for 2 on the day. So that'll bring up Ty Early in a dead bunt situation here for Ryan Carter's Kamiakin Braves. There is the square. Early missed the ball. Here's a throw down to second base to try and get the lead runner Mackhart. It got by the shortstop Bowling, but Mackhart was on the ground and had no chance to advance, getting up and having to run 90 feet with the center fielder Addison Hull charging in to field it.
And that's where almost this home field advantage of Kamiakin playing here in the Tri-Cities comes in. The crowd roared, so he knew instantly that it was out there, but probably a wise idea not to try to get up and head to third.
Early squaring while Gillespie is still holding the stretch. He pulls back, and Gillespie's fastball paints the outside corner at 82 miles an hour. So nothing in two now on Ty Early. Early singled in his first at bat. We'll have to do some defensive hitting now with 2 strikes. The next offering a fastball at 86 miles an hour. That's the tops we've seen from Gillespie so far today. So 1-2 the count now on Early. Mackhart at second. Logan Jackson is on at first. The next pitch, a curveball. Low and away, reaching for it. And catching it before it bounced in the dirt was the catcher Braden Walgamot. Infield playing at double play depth, pinching the middle. Gillespie's 2-2 pitch on the way to Early, blew it by him. An 85-mile-an-hour fastball, and Early is out number 1 here in the third inning. A big out right there, because now Gillespie can get out of it with just 1 pitch. And last time that this batter, Drew Ord, came to the plate, Gillespie was able to induce a ground ball that, if duplicated right here, would probably result in a double play. First pitch to Ord is outside. 0-1. Ord grounded out to short his first time up in yesterday's game. He had 1 hit, going 1 for 4. Also drew a walk. Next pitch, ground ball right side. That's going to get through. Mackhart to third. They're going to wave him home. The throw will be cut off by the first baseman, Pollock. And he is safe at home. Mackhart scores on the play. Jackson takes third. And the batter, Drew Ord, goes all the way to second base. 2 runners still in scoring position with only 1 out.
And Jake, if Pollock was thinking right away of giving up on the run at home and just focusing on Ord, who is heading from first to second, I think he would have been dead meat. And Ord even knew it at one point, about 8 to 10 feet before second base. He started to slow up, thinking he might be caught in a pickle. Instead, Pollock didn't turn around in time, and Ord got in there safely.
And this is the guy that Kamiakin wants up there right now as the first pitch bounces in. The wise move for the Eastside Catholic Crusaders might be to just go ahead and put Hauser on, because Hauser is hitting .500 on the year. 11 doubles and 4 triples for Jesse Hauser. Next pitch, 1 hopper right back to Gillespie. He snags it, looks the runner back at third base, and throws over to first to retire Hauser. Hauser hit a 1-hop shot, but it was right back at Blake Gillespie.
Batting number 3, Andrew Castillo, the center fielder, Castillo.
So that'll bring up Andrew Castillo. Castillo scored the first run of the game for the Kamiakin Braves. He reached on an air to lead off the second inning and came around to score on the RBI single by Johnny Jansen. Castillo scored that first run, and he looks to produce a few more with the bat. 2-0 Kamiakin on top. 2 runners in scoring position with 2 away. Here's another 1-hopper right back to Gillespie. Gillespie doing a good job fielding his position to get the last 2 outs of this third inning, and 2 runners are stranded in scoring position. But the Braves do pick up 1 run, and as we go to the bottom of the third inning, Kamiakin leads 2-0.
Hi, we're Chris
And Anna Groneveld, local dairy farmers from Monroe, Washington.
The Dairy Farmers of Washington, along with Les Schwab Tires, are proud co-title sponsors of the WIAA High School State Championships.
The Washington Interscholastic Activities Association supports high school programs and activities that keep our kids growing in mind and body.
Today's high school students will be some of tomorrow's community leaders, and we feel it is important to do our part in helping foster an appreciation of community, responsibility, teamwork, and sportsmanship in today's youth.
The WIAA helps provide those opportunities through athletic, artistic, and academic competition.
Please join the Dairy Farmers of Washington and Les Schwab Tires in supporting young people in your community by attending your local high school state championships.
For a complete list of events and activities in your area, visit WIAA.com.
At Les Schwab, along with great prices, our tires come with the kind of protection most other places just don't give you, which includes free flat repairs, equal value replacements, pre-trip safety checks, and more for the entire life of the tire. With the other guys, well, you just never know. So why is free protection on your tires good to have?
Lifetime protection. That's our best tire value promise. Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
And welcome back to Gesa Stadium here in Pasco, Washington. We are at the home of the Tri-City Dust Devils, single-A affiliate of the Colorado Rockies, for this 3A state championship game. Kamiakin on top, 2-0 here in the bottom of the third. It's the top of the order for the Eastside Catholic Crusaders. TJ Murphy takes the first pitch for a ball, and the second one is over and good on the outer half. 1-1 on Murphy, who struck out swinging his first time up. Here's a little flare over to the third baseman. Easy play for Drew Ord as he makes the catch just barely on the foul side of the line. One away. Murphy now 0 for 2.
Batting number 4, Luke Shepard, the second baseman Shepard.
So Luke Shepard will come up now. Shepard was the first Crusader to reach base in today's game. He drew a walk with one out in the first inning. The Crusaders are still hitless today as they trail 2-0 in the third. David Marshall from the windup hits the outside corner with a fastball, and it's 1-1. The southpaw winds and deals. Next pitch, swinging a foul, back and out of play over on the Kamiakin side. Stands filling up on the right side especially, which is the Kamiakin side here today, as they are just down the road in Kennewick. And those fans on the right side wanted that last pitch, but it's even at 2-2 now. A swing and a foul tip, just barely getting a piece of it, was Luke Shepard, and he stays alive. We'll do the 2-2 pitch one more time. Now Marshall winds and deals, fastball up and in. Spinning with it was Shepard. He flinched late there and spun out of the way. 3-2 the count now. Here's a hard hit ground ball. That's going to get through the shortstop. Jesse Hauser has it go through his legs and into left center field. And Kamiakin got their first run after an error by the Eastside Catholic shortstop. Let's see if the Crusaders can replicate there after the mistake by Hauser. Eastside Catholic, the home team today. They're in their all-white uniforms, at the bat with the dark blue numbers and lettering, as the first pitch is taken for a strike by Jeff Bowling. Orange trim on those numbers and that lettering. Crusaders in cursive across the chest. Marshall from the stretch delivers low. Ball 1-1. Kamiakin wearing their white pants today with the bit of a kind of McDonald's All-American look with the top uniforms, the yellow unis with the red numbers and red lettering, Braves across the chest, and their ball caps are very similar to the Cleveland Indians one. They've got the Chief Wahoo emblem on the front. 1-2 the count now on Bowling, as the shortstop will have to protect the plate with 2 strikes, and he does just that, extending the at-bat by at least one more pitch. On at first is Shepard. He's reached both times he's been to the plate without getting a hit. He's held on by Nolan Early as the next pitch is down low in the dirt. A good block by Ty Early, Nolan's brother. And that will keep Luke Shepard on at first base. Bowling a strikeout victim his first time up. Watches the 2-2 go low for ball 3. 3-2. This is a good opportunity for Kyle Larson to put the game in motion. and send Shepard. Let's see if he does. Marshall from the stretch. Shepard not going anywhere. The pitch is popped up on the infield in foul territory. The catcher calling for it. Off with the mask and making the grab is Ty Early for out number 2. So Braden Walgamot will be the batter now. Walgamot also a strikeout victim. His first time up. Braden a .362 hitter. He has belted 3 home runs for the Eastside Catholic Crusaders here in the spring of 2012. First pitch swinging, and he's out in front of an off-speed delivery by David Marshall. Marshall looking to get out of this inning with a 0 in the run column as the next pitch is driven to left field and deep. Back on the ball goes Tyler Mackhart. It's going to get over his head and take a hop off the wall. Coming around from first is Shepard. The ball is cut off by the third baseman. Shepard slides in and he is safe, and Marshall's not backing it up. Going to third is the batter Braden Walgamot, and he represents the tying run just 90 feet away after the RBI double.
Jake, you were going through those great stats for Walgamot this year, but so far in the state tournament, yesterday and today, 0 for 5, and boy, did he come through in a big way with that base hit right there.
He busts out of the slump with a double, and he takes third on the throwing error by the third baseman, Drew Ord.
Batting number 12.
So Marshall, the pitcher, was not in position to back up there. He was, for some reason, on the third base side, almost as if he would be backing up a throw coming in from right field, when he should have been on the first base side because the ball was down in the left field corner. They're going to step off and have an appeal over at first base. They're going to say that Walgamot missed the first base bag as he took the turn towards second. That is not the case. Jacob Wells has replaced Walgamot on the base paths. He's the courtesy runner for the catcher, as both the pitcher and catcher will have courtesy runners come in for them to speed up the pace of the game. A swing and a miss by Hayden Meyer. He's quickly behind. 0-2. Meyer walked his first time up. Wells an aggressive lead at third from the windup. Marshall delivers, and all Meyer can do is wave at it. He was fooled badly on that pitch. Eastside Catholic gets one, and they cut the lead in half. The score after 3. Kamiakin 2 and Eastside Catholic 1.
Hi, we're Chris
And Anna Groneveld, local dairy farmers from Monroe, Washington.
The Dairy Farmers of Washington, along with Les Schwab Tires, are proud co-title sponsors of the WIAA High School State Championships.
The Washington Interscholastic Activities Association supports high school programs and activities that keep our kids growing in mind and body.
Today's high school students will be some of tomorrow's community leaders, and we feel it is important to do our part in helping foster an appreciation of community, responsibility, teamwork, and sportsmanship in today's youth.
The WIAA helps provide those opportunities through athletic, artistic, and academic competition.
Please join the Dairy Farmers of Washington and Les Schwab Tires in supporting young people in your community by attending your local high school state championships.
For a complete list of events and activities in your area, visit WIAA.com.
At Les Schwab, along with great prices, our tires come with the kind of protection most other places just don't give you, which includes free flat repairs, equal value replacements, pre-trip safety checks, and more for the entire life of the tire. With the other guys, well, you just never know. So why is free protection on your tires good to have?
Lifetime protection. That's our best tire value promise. Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
And welcome back to Gesa Stadium, everybody. Jake Eastman along with Chris King. We head to the top of the 4th inning. Kamiakin on top 2-1. Eastside Catholic just getting their first run as Luke Shepard came around to score on the RBI double by Braden Walgamot. First pitch swinging and sending a lazy fly over to right field is Nolan Early. There to make the grab is T.J. Murphy. Murphy with the putout. 1 pitch, 1 away here in the 4th inning.
Now batting number 7, Johnny Jansen, the right fielder, Jansen.
So Johnny Jansen will be the batter now. Jansen, the right fielder, is 1 for 1. He had an RBI single back in the second inning. Gillespie from the wide hits the inner edge with a 79-mile-an-hour fastball. And it's 0-1. Johnny Jansen, the junior, ready for the next offering. He pops this one up right behind the pitcher's mound, and it will be Gillespie there to make the catch. Jansen is retired, and it was Johnny's older brother that was in that center stage play in last year's semifinal that Kamiakin participated in at Cheney Stadium in the game against Mount Si. The situation was bottom of the 7th inning, Kamiakin at the bat, trailing by just 1 run. 1 out and a runner on at third base. Joey Jansen, the older brother of Johnny, was at the bat. The runner on third base was Johnny Allen. Jansen hit a fly ball to left field straight away that was caught. Then breaking for home was Johnny Allen, and he was thrown out. But Allen was able to actually knock the ball out of the catcher's hand when he caught it, and Kamiakin began to celebrate, thinking that they had tied the game, but the umpire, being right on top of it, called the runner out for not obeying the slide and avoid rule, and that's how Kamiakin's season came to an end last year. Here's Valdez putting a charge into one to deep center field, but running over to get it is Addison Hull in a quick 3-up, 3-down inning for Blake Gillespie and the Eastside Catholic Crusaders. We're halfway done at Gesa Stadium. Kamiakin 2, Eastside Catholic 1.
Hi, we're Chris
And Anna Groneveld, local dairy farmers from Monroe, Washington.
The Dairy Farmers of Washington, along with Les Schwab Tires, are proud co-title sponsors of the WIAA High School State Championships.
The Washington Interscholastic Activities Association supports high school programs and activities that keep our kids growing in mind and body.
Today's high school students will be some of tomorrow's community leaders, and we feel it is important to do our part in helping foster an appreciation of community, responsibility, teamwork, and sportsmanship in today's youth.
The WIAA helps provide those opportunities through athletic, artistic, and academic competition.
Please join the Dairy Farmers of Washington and Les Schwab Tires in supporting young people in your community by attending your local high school state championships.
For a complete list of events and activities in your area, visit WIAA.com.
At Les Schwab, along with great prices, our tires come with the kind of protection most other places just don't give you, which includes free flat repairs, equal value replacements, pre-trip safety checks, and more for the entire life of the tire. With the other guys, well, you just never know. So why is free protection on your tires good to have?
Lifetime protection. That's our best tire value promise. Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
Bottom of the 4th inning now. Eastside Catholic will send up 6, 7, and 8. Keppel, Ulvestad, and Ryan Pollock coming up for the Eastside Catholic Crusaders. Kyle Larson's team trails by 1. One more win will give Larson a state championship in his first year. That'll set the bar pretty high for himself if he's able to accomplish that. On the other side, Ryan Carter, the head coach for the Kamiakin Braves, only in his 3rd year. So they're both young in their tenures at their respective schools. 2-2 is the count on Keppel. Keppel, an all-Metro League first-team designated hitter. He hits this one a mile high on the infield left side. Ord, the third baseman, calling for it. He's under it, and he makes the catch for the first out of the inning. So that'll bring up Travis Ulvestad. Ulvestad, the left fielder. He reached on a fielder's choice his first time up. Eventually made it all the way around to third base, but he was stranded there when Addison Hull struck out looking to end the second inning. He swings and fouls the first pitch straight back. 0-1 on the junior left fielder. David Marshall from the windup delivers, got it in on the hands of Ulvestad, and he fisted it over to the first baseman, but before Nolan Early was able to come in and even make a play on the ball, both umpires from home plate and first base throwing up both hands, signaling foul ball. That one must have got a piece of the leg of Ulvestad on its way down to first. Now the 0-2, and it's hit right in the same spot, this time not off the leg of Ulvestad, and there to take it himself for the unassisted putout is Nolan Early. Quickly 2 away here in the bottom of the 4th inning for the Crusaders.
First baseman Pollock.
Ryan Pollock will be the batter now. Pollock without an official at-bat today. He walked with 2 outs in the 2nd inning. First offering from Marshall. Tails off the outside. And it's 1-0. Now the lefty winds again. A wave, half swing by Pollock, as he was fooled badly that time. That evens the count at 1-1. Here's the next pitch, a swing and a miss behind that fastball was Ryan Pollock, and Marshall having his way with the Crusader first baseman so far in this at-bat. Let's see if he can finish it off. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. He does just that. 7 strikeouts now for David Marshall. We've played 4 here in Pasco. 2-1, Kamiakin.
Hi, we're Chris
And Anna Groneveld, local dairy farmers from Monroe, Washington.
The Dairy Farmers of Washington, along with Les Schwab Tires, are proud co-title sponsors of the WIAA High School State Championships.
The Washington Interscholastic Activities Association supports high school programs and activities that keep our kids growing in mind and body.
Today's high school students will be some of tomorrow's community leaders, and we feel it is important to do our part in helping foster an appreciation of community, responsibility, teamwork, and sportsmanship in today's youth.
The WIAA helps provide those opportunities through athletic, artistic, and academic competition.
Please join the Dairy Farmers of Washington and Les Schwab Tires in supporting young people in your community by attending your local high school state championships.
For a complete list of events and activities in your area, visit WIAA.com.
At Les Schwab, along with great prices, our tires come with the kind of protection most other places just don't give you, which includes free flat repairs, equal value replacements, pre-trip safety checks, and more for the entire life of the tire. With the other guys, well, you just never know. So why is free protection on your tires good to have?
Lifetime protection. That's our best tire value promise. Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
Ryan Carter will send Taylor Mackhart to the plate to lead off the top of the 5th inning. Mackhart, Jackson, and Early, 9, 1, and 2 coming up for the Braves. Mackhart a single in the 3rd inning. He led off that inning with that single and came around to score on the RBI base knock by Drew Ord. He takes a strike, 0-1. Next pitch to Mackhart. That misses inside, 1-1. A note on Ryan Carter, head coach of the Kamiakin Braves down there in the third base coach's box. He's in his 3rd year here. This is the 2nd school that he's been the varsity head coach for. Previously spent 4 seasons as the head coach at Walla Walla High School. A little bit further down the highway. That's out in the background here at Gesa Stadium. 2-1 the count. Gillespie delivers. Here's a ground ball left side. There to get it on a couple of hops is Hayden Myers going to have to hurry his throw across, and a good stretch on the other side by Ryan Pollock to keep that foot on the bag and retire Mackhart.
That's 6 straight that Gillespie is retired, and when you go back to when he started that streak, that's back in the 3rd inning when 1 run already came in. Runners on 2nd and 3rd with only 1 out. He was able to induce those 2 very hard comebackers that he was able to glove, and since then, 6 straight, he's retired.
First pitch on the way to Logan Jackson. That finds the inner edge. 0-1 on the Braves' second baseman. Jackson 1 for 2 on the day, singled his last time up. He hits a regular ground ball over towards second base. And there to scoop it up easily is Luke Shepard. Simple 4-3 put out that time. First two batters retired by Blake Gillespie, and you can make it 7 in a row now for the Crusaders starter. So 2 away, and that brings up Ty Early. Early 1 for 2 as well today. He singled in his first at-bat, struck out swinging in the third. He takes the first pitch high, 1-0. From the windup, Gillespie comes in. Drag bunt attempt by Early, but he didn't quite get the bat around far enough, and he knocks it right back to the pitcher, Gillespie. And Gillespie has proven to field his position very well today, and that was an easy play that time for Blake. We're through 4.5 now at Gesa Stadium. Still 2-1, Kamiakin.
Hi, we're Chris
And Anna Groneveld, local dairy farmers from Monroe, Washington.
The Dairy Farmers of Washington, along with Les Schwab Tires, are proud co-title sponsors of the WIAA High School State Championships.
The Washington Interscholastic Activities Association supports high school programs and activities that keep our kids growing in mind and body.
Today's high school students will be some of tomorrow's community leaders, and we feel it is important to do our part in helping foster an appreciation of community, responsibility, teamwork, and sportsmanship in today's youth.
The WIAA helps provide those opportunities through athletic, artistic, and academic competition.
Please join the Dairy Farmers of Washington and Les Schwab Tires in supporting young people in your community by attending your local high school state championships.
For a complete list of events and activities in your area, visit WIAA.com.
At Les Schwab, along with great prices, our tires come with the kind of protection most other places just don't give you, which includes free flat repairs, equal value replacements, pre-trip safety checks, and more for the entire life of the tire. With the other guys, well, you just never know. So why is free protection on your tires good to have?
Lifetime protection. That's our best tire value promise. Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits entertains us over the loudspeakers here at Gesa Stadium in between the top and bottom of the 5th inning. Bottom half now. Eastside Catholic at the bat, trailing by 1. 2-1 Kamiakin, as Addison Hull, the freshman, leads it off for the Crusaders. He'll be followed by TJ Murphy and Luke Shepard. Hull, a big swing and a foul straight back. And he's behind David Marshall at 0-2. Pollock struck out to end the 4th inning. Marshall looking for a second consecutive punch-out of a Crusader batter. Here is a little looper into shallow center field, coming in and having to play it on a hop and actually having it get through him was Andrew Castillo, and a good job by Johnny Jansen backing that up. That's a play that oftentimes you'll see a corner outfielder kind of ease into, maybe not be backing up that intensely, and if he had done that time, Hull would be in scoring position. So Addison Hull, a good piece of 2-strike hitting there, getting the single. As the bunt is put down by TJ Murphy, Marshall will field. He throws high, and it's over the head of the first baseman early, and it goes into no man's land. Coming around and being waved home is Hull. There's going to be a throw to the plate. It is late. Hull slides in safely head first, and we are even at 2. A costly error right there by the Kamiakin Braves, and there's still nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th inning, and the Crusaders have the go-ahead run in scoring position.
You should have seen Kyle Larson, the coach of the Crusaders, in the third base coaching box. Once he saw that throw go over the head of the first baseman early, he started waving his right arm around in that windmill motion, and I thought he was going to jump out of his shoes. He was hopping up there, and Addison Hull taking that sign and getting around third and being able to score and tie this game up.
Ryan Carter's going to have a conference on the mound. Let's talk a little bit more about Kyle Larson. We focused on Ryan Carter there in the top half of the inning. Kyle Larson, a pretty good baseball player in his day. He was a graduate of Eastlake High School, which is practically next-door neighbors of Eastside Catholic. He graduated back in 2001 and then played at the University of Washington. He is the all-time Husky leader in career RBIs. Went on to play 2 years in the Yankees organization after his time at UW. Putting a good bunt down the third base side is Luke Shepard, but it rolls just foul. Ty Early going to touch it in foul territory to make sure it doesn't roll back fair. And it is 0-1 on Luke Shepard. And if you're Eastside Catholic, the way that Blake Gillespie has settled in these last couple innings, you got to have the feeling that if you can get the lead right here, you might be able to keep it for good. Shepard will bunt again. This one is down the third base side. Marshall going to have to range to pick it up. Throws to first and getting the out there, and there's going to be a close play at third, and being out is TJ Murphy. What a snap throw by the first baseman, Nolan Early. He stretched and made the catch to get the out on the batter, Shepard, and he snapped the throw over to TJ Murphy and got him as he was rounding third a little too far. Murphy is furious with the call, and Kyle Larson is very angry as well, upset with Mark Collender, the third base umpire, for electing to call Murphy out. So that'll go down as a 1-3-5 double play. I don't think I've ever seen a 1-3-5 double play before. And Kamiakin now will still need to get one more out here in this fifth inning. But there's nobody on with two away. Two and one, the count on Balling. Next offering, he cues it right down the line. It's going to be just a matter of inches foul. So you can give Luke Shepard a successful sacrifice. Give him credit for moving TJ Murphy from second to third, but then the 3-5 putout. Here's a ground ball, chopper to the left side, deep in the hole, unable to handle it is Jesse Hauser. That would have been a tough play either way. Hauser had to go back and do his right, and he would have had to try and throw out Balling from the outfield grass there in shallow left. So they'll call that a hit. Third hit of the game for the Eastside Catholic Crusaders. That's a big one right there, because that chopper right there would have brought TJ Murphy in to score if he had been on third base. First pitch swinging is Walgamot. He skies one into shallow left center. Out to get it is the shortstop, Jesse Hauser, and he gloves it for out number 3. The Eastside Catholic Crusaders get a run and tie it up. We've played 5 here at Gesa Stadium. Kamiakin 2 and Eastside Catholic 2.
Hi, we're Chris
and Anna Groneveld, local dairy farmers from Monroe, Washington.
The Dairy Farmers of Washington, along with Les Schwab Tires, are proud co-title sponsors of the WIAA High School State Championships.
The Washington Interscholastic Activities Association supports high school programs and activities that keep our kids growing in mind and body.
Today's high school students will be some of tomorrow's community leaders, and we feel it is important to do our part in helping foster an appreciation of community, responsibility, teamwork, and sportsmanship in today's youth.
The WIAA helps provide those opportunities through athletic, artistic, and academic competition.
Please join the Dairy Farmers of Washington and Les Schwab Tires in supporting young people in your community by attending your local high school state championships.
For a complete list of events and activities in your area, visit WIAA.com.
At Les Schwab, along with great prices, our tires come with the kind of protection most other places just don't give you, which includes free flat repairs, equal value replacements, pre-trip safety checks, and more for the entire life of the tire. With the other guys, well, you just never know. So why is free protection on your tires good to have?
Lifetime protection. That's our best tire value promise. Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
Kamiakin coming to bat here in the top of the 6th inning. All square at 2, and here to take us home is Chris King.
Drew Orr, Jesse Hauser, and Andrew Castile due up here in the top of the 6th inning. First pitch blown out to left field. Olvestad comes in, and he'll make the catch for out number 1 here in the top of the 6th, and we are all tied up here in the Top of the 6th inning of the 3A state championship game. It has been a fun one so far. And we have a lot left in store in the final 2 innings of this game. 2-2 ties. Blake Gillespie, the starter for Eastside Catholic, has now retired 9 straight, showing bunt pulling back. The cleanup hitter, Jesse Hauser, a big threat up at the plate, and he's been quiet so far. 0 for 2. Hauser's flown out to center field to Addison Hull, also grounded back to the pitcher, Gillespie. Pitch is called a strike, and the count evens up at 1-1. Austin Hebden getting loose down in the Kamiakin bullpen, down the right field line. David Marshall giving up a run last inning. And one of those innings you look back on, and if you're Kamiakin, it could have been worse and it could have been better. You take away that David Marshall throwing error to first, then you don't have the tying run come around to score, as a base hit is smashed up the middle by Jesse Hauser, his first of the game. He's in with a 1-out single. But when you think about, too, the double play that they were able to pull and how they were able to throw out T.J. Murphy at third base, and then Luke Shepard, or correction, Jeff Bowling comes back with a single, that run would have scored. So for Kamiakin, it sort of evens out, and here we are with a 2-2 tie. The Braves want to get that lead back. The first delivery as the runner takes off as a throw down to second, and it is in time. No doubt about it, as Hauser knew immediately. He popped up and turned straight for the dugout. Credit to Braden Walgamot, the catcher. Threw it on a rope down to second. Bowling, the shortstop, applied the tag, and now 2 down. And that base runner after the single from Hauser erased. The count 1-0 to Castillo as he fouls it back to the backstop. Castillo scored the first run of the game. Was able to reach a board off that throwing error by Jeff Bowling, the shortstop. Went into the Kamiakin dugout. Was on at second base and scored off the Johnny Jansen RBI single. It's also granted out back to the pitcher, Gillespie. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Foul back out of play, so that base hit by Jesse Hauser, snapping the streak of 9 straight Braves that Gillespie was able to retire in a row. But on the very next pitch, they were able to throw out Hauser, trying to steal second. Here's the 0-2 pitch upstairs. And the count now 1-2. Ball from the bullpen heading out in the right field, so the home plate umpire, Mark Allen, pointing out there, and that ball being scooped up, back ready to play. Aside from Gillespie, kicks and deals. Here's the 1-2, and it misses away. A great crowd, a great atmosphere here for this 3A state championship. Don't forget the 4A state championship coming up. A 7 o'clock start, Kentwood and Puyallup. The 2-2 fouled back. Looked like he got a piece of the glove from the catcher, Walgamot. Gillespie winds up and delivers. The 2-2 once more is a fly ball to center field. Coming in to grab it is Addison Hull, and that will do it in the top of the 6th. Still tied up at 2 apiece here in the 3A state championship between Kamiakin and Eastside Catholic.
Hi, we're Chris
And Anna Groneveld, local dairy farmers from Monroe, Washington.
The Dairy Farmers of Washington, along with Les Schwab Tires, are proud co-title sponsors of the WIAA High School State Championships.
The Washington Interscholastic Activities Association supports high school programs and activities that keep our kids growing in mind and body.
Today's high school students will be some of tomorrow's community leaders, and we feel it is important to do our part in helping foster an appreciation of community, responsibility, teamwork, and sportsmanship in today's youth.
The WIAA helps provide those opportunities through athletic, artistic, and academic competition.
Please join the Dairy Farmers of Washington and Les Schwab Tires in supporting young people in your community by attending your local high school state championships.
For a complete list of events and activities in your area, visit WIAA.com.
Back at Gesa Stadium, bottom of the 6th inning, along with Jake Eastman. Chris King here with you, tied up at 2 apiece between the Kamiakin Braves and the Eastside Catholic Crusaders. It'll be Meyer, Keppel, and Volstad due up the 5, 6, 7 hitters for Eastside Catholic. David Marshall, the starter, out for his 6th inning of work. The sophomore here in the state championship game as the next pitch is fouled off. He's barely able to drive, and here he is playing in front of at least 1,000 fans here with the state championship riding on the line. Pitch is fouled off. 0-2 count now to Hayden Meyer, who's 0 for 1 in the game. Meyer has walked and has also struck out. Marshall, 7 strikeouts, only given up 3 hits, but it's the 3 errors against Kamiakin that has come back to haunt them. Swung on and miss, make that strikeout number 8 for the young left-hander. And now 1 down in the bottom of the 6th. Kamiakin has not trailed in this game. They took the lead first with a run in the 2nd inning and added 1 more in the 3rd. Had the 2-0 lead, and when you go back and look at that 3rd inning, maybe a missed opportunity for them. Runners on 2nd and 3rd with only 1 out. Didn't get any more out of it. As the pop-up from Jeff Keppel is taken care of by Jesse Hauser, the shortstop, and quickly 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th. Eastside Catholic able to battle back, scoring 1 on the bottom of the 6th off an RBI double from Braden Wolgamott, and getting 1 more off a throwing error from Marshall in the 5th. Popped up in foul territory. Early heading over, and will just run out of real estate, and not by much, as it goes in that picnic area over along the first base line and bounces up into the seats.
Please return all foul balls to the nearest dugout. Thank you.
It's like some of those Kamiakin fans have filled in that picnic area, getting a nice close view down the first base line.
Of course, Kamiakin here in the Tri-Cities, located in Kennewick, so a great crowd on hand cheering on the Braves. And that's not to overlook the crowd that Eastside Catholic has brought over here to the Tri-Cities as well. A lot of orange peppered throughout the stadium. The 1-1 pitch in on the outside corner for a called strike. And Volstad, who has reached off a fielder's choice and was grounded out to early at first, down in the count 1-2. Marshall deals home, and it goes back to the backstop. Kamiakin locked in a close game here yesterday. It was Kamiakin who needed a comeback, and Eastside Catholic that ran away with it over Kelso. The 2-2 once more is popped up over the 3rd baseman Orr to step into foul territory, is there to make the catch. And an easy 1-2-3 inning for Marshall and the Braves. We're through 6 innings here at Gesa Stadium. We move to the top of the 7th, all tied up between Kamiakin and Eastside Catholic at 2 apiece.
Hi, we're Chris
And Anna Groneveld, local dairy farmers from Monroe, Washington.
The Dairy Farmers of Washington, along with Les Schwab Tires, are proud co-title sponsors of the WIAA High School State Championships.
The Washington Interscholastic Activities Association supports high school programs and activities that keep our kids growing in mind and body.
Today's high school students will be some of tomorrow's community leaders, and we feel it is important to do our part in helping foster an appreciation of community, responsibility, teamwork, and sportsmanship in today's youth.
The WIAA helps provide those opportunities through athletic, artistic, and academic competition.
Please join the Dairy Farmers of Washington and Les Schwab Tires in supporting young people in your community by attending your local high school state championships.
For a complete list of events and activities in your area, visit WIAA.com.
At Les Schwab, along with great prices, our tires come with the kind of protection most other places just don't give you, which includes free flat repairs, equal value replacements, pre-trip safety checks, and more for the entire life of the tire. With the other guys, well, you just never know. So why is free protection on your tires good to have?
Lifetime protection. That's our best tire value promise. Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
Blake Gillespie out for his 7th inning of work here in this tie game. The 3A state championship. Gillespie and his Eastside Catholic Crusaders trying to keep it a tie game to give their offense a chance in the bottom of the 7th inning. Kamiakin Sends up Nolan early as he swings and misses the first pitch. He'll be the 6, 7, 8 hitters. Early, Jansen and Valdez due up. Early 0 for 2 on the day. 2 fly balls out to the outfield. The next pitch in the dirt for ball 1. The 1-1 pitch from Gillespie upstairs for ball 2. 3A state championship here again. We'll have all the action here on the WIAA network for the 4A state championship. The pitch is swung on, hit hard into left field, going over a Volstad, and he's there to make the catch. A hard hit ball from early, but just right at the left fielder of Volstad. And there's one down in the top of the 7th.
Looking over at the first base dugout, the Kamiakin Braves got those rally hats all up and down the dugout. Everyone with that the hat turned inside out. Out there above the steps as well. Still very excited, looking to get something going here in the 7th.
Johnny Jansen watches the breaking ball go in for strike 1. And as that was happening, a parade of purple coming through here in front of the grandstands, right behind home plate. That is, of course, the Puyallup Vikings will be taking on Kentwood in the 4A state championship. Johnny Jansen has never been happier in his life to get hit as he took that one on the shoulder. Beamed by Gillespie, and he heads down to first base. Before that, Gillespie had retired 11 of the last 12 batters he had faced. So Gillespie had been locked in, but giving up a free pass as he hits Jansen. And now it's Jacob Valdez, who had a huge hit in yesterday's game, almost as huge as that swing on that high fastball that he came up empty on. Kamiakin was down 5-1 going to the top of the 7th inning against Bishop Blanchette. Rallied for 4 runs. Valdez brought home the tying run on a 2 RBI base hit. Gillespie tosses over to the bag, and Jansen back safely. Gillespie out of the stretch, peers over his shoulder, and ready to look back home. Valdez, a chopper, this could be trouble. That's into the gap. Jansen into second base, that's where he'll hold up as a Volstad comes up and grabs it. A 1-out single. And now, in the top of the 7th, with the game tied up here in the 3A state championship, the Braves have a runner in scoring position, and Tyler Mackhart will step up to the plate.
Now running at first base, Scott Giori. Giori now running.
Scott Giori, or Scott Gorey, correction. Out running is the courtesy runner, out on at first base. Tyler Mackhart with the single. Scored the Braves' last run in the 3rd inning as he was driven home by a Drew Ard RBI single. He was driven home last time. Now he has a chance to drive home his teammate, Johnny Jansen here. 1 out, top of the 7th, tie game. The pitch from Gillespie. This is away for ball 1. Mackhart, a .270 hitter this year, hitting in the number 9 spot of the batting order. The left fielder awaits for the 1-0 offering. Here it comes. That's hit out into right center field. Charging in his Hall. That will fall in. Jansen had to hold up, and they will keep him on a third. But some confusion. Running into third as well is the courtesy runner, Gorey. He's down in a pickle, and he will be tagged out by the shortstop, Bowling. A base running gaff by Kamiakin, and it costs them big time. They would have had the bases loaded with 1 out, but as Gorey, who is in as a courtesy runner for the DH Valdez, a little too eager, came rounding second into the pickle, and he gets tagged out for the 2nd out of the inning.
So that play was a result of Johnny Jansen being held up. He was the runner on at second base there. He turned and looked out at the center fielder, Addison Hull, and didn't have the best angle to see if that ball would fall in front of Addison, whereas the courtesy runner, Giori, had a better side angle. He realized that that ball was going to get down, and he was taking an aggressive turn because of it.
Logan Jackson, the batter, the leadoff hitter. Jackson, the junior second baseman, with a huge opportunity here. Not as good as it would have been if they would have had the bases loaded and 1 out, but still runners on the corners with 2 out. The delivery from Gillespie misses upstairs. The potential winning run just 90 feet away in this 3A state championship game. Kamiakin with a huge turnout here, the Kennewick School, with an easy commute to get to this championship game. Mackhart on a first, being held on by Pollock. Here's the 2-0 pitch right down the middle. And Jackson watches it go by for strike 1. Kamiakin with 8 hits in this game. Eastside Catholic with only 3, but the 3 errors of the Braves have haunted them, and that's why they are locked up in a tie game right now. The 2-1 pitch swung on and missed. Jackson a little late on the 83-mile-per-hour fastball. Gillespie, after getting in some trouble early, giving up 1 run in the second and 1 in the third, has really locked down. He finds himself in a jam here. Can he get out of it in the top of the 7th? A step off the rubber. And he's ready to go. The 2-2 pitch swung on, and that will fall in for a base hit. Trapped by the left fielder of Volstad, but it fell. A base hit, an RBI single. Logan Jackson comes through, and Kamiakin takes the lead back in the top of the 7th. They now lead the Crusaders 3-2.
Again, great 2-strike hitting by the Kamiakin Braves. Jackson stays on that ball, drives it, keeps his hands inside, and hits it the other way, going to left field, hitting the ball firmly. A line drive landing right in front of Volvestad, and it gives the Braves a 3-2 lead. What an exciting state championship game, Chris. It doesn't get any better than this.
So the fate for Kamiakin squarely rests in their hands. They have the opportunity here with runners on at first and second, and their number 2 hitter Ty Early coming up to add on to that lead. But they will go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Just 3 outs to work with. That's all they need. That's all that stands between them and the state championship. They've already had one heck of a day, as the school today has won the softball championship and also the girls track championship. Trying to make it 3 in one day. Gillespie's pitch is fouled back by Early, who's 1 for 3 on the day. His only base hit coming in the first inning. This has been an outstanding state championship game so far. We thank you for joining us. The great news, it's the first of 2, as we still have the 4A championship to go. The 0-1 outside, and the count evens up at 1-1. Kamiakin has not only doubled up the hit total of Eastside Catholic, they've tripled it, as that RBI single from Logan Jackson was the 9th hit of the game for the Braves, only 3 for the Crusaders. The 1-1 fouled back off the home plate umpire Mark Allen. Gillespie, the starter, who has gone the whole way so far, looking just to make it a 1-run game, as the pitch is fouled off. The Crusaders, in the bottom of the 7th inning, will send up their 8, 9, and 1 hitters. Pollock, Hull, and Murphy due up in the bottom of the 7th inning for Eastside Catholic. 1-2 count, 2 outs. Fouled off again as Kentwood and Puyallup have to have butterflies in their stomachs at this point. Watching this tight state championship game here, and Kentwood sitting on the fence down the first baseline, waiting for their opportunity. The Puyallup coaches down the third baseline watching this game. The pitch again is fouled off, as Early is battling up there with Gillespie. The Braves driving in a run here in the top of the 7th. Now have the 3-2 lead. 2 outs. Runners on at first and second. The 1-2 pitch in the dirt. Brings back to an even count, 2-2. Those rally caps that the Kamiakin Braves are wearing in their dugout, paying off here in the top of the 7th. The pitch swung on and missed. Gillespie able to fan early, and that will do it for the top of the 7th. But 1 run comes in, and as we go to the bottom of the 7th, Kamiakin with a 3-2 lead on Eastside Catholic. David Marshall slowly sauntering out of the dugout onto the hill. He'll look to wrap up the state championship for the Braves. We'll take a break and be back.
Hi, we're Chris
And Anna Groneveld, local dairy farmers from Monroe, Washington.
The Dairy Farmers of Washington, along with Les Schwab Tires, are proud co-title sponsors of the WIAA High School State Championships.
The Washington Interscholastic Activities Association supports high school programs and activities that keep our kids growing in mind and body.
Today's high school students will be some of tomorrow's community leaders, and we feel it is important to do our part in helping foster an appreciation of community, responsibility, teamwork, and sportsmanship in today's youth.
The WIAA helps provide those opportunities through athletic, artistic, and academic competition.
Please join the Dairy Farmers of Washington and Les Schwab Tires in supporting young people in your community by attending your local high school state championships.
For a complete list of events and activities in your area, visit WIAA.com.
At Les Schwab, along with great prices, our tires come with the kind of protection most other places just don't give you, which includes free flat repairs, equal value replacements, pre-trip safety checks, and more for the entire life of the tire. With the other guys, well, you just never know. So why is free protection on your tires good to have?
Lifetime protection. That's our best tire value promise. Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
Ryan Pollock first up here in the bottom of the 7th as the young sophomore David Marshall out on the hill, trying to wrap up the state championship for his team. A 3-2 lead for Kamiakin as Pollock fouls off the second pitch. Bottom of the 7th inning. Thanks for joining us here at the 3A state championship at Gesa Stadium in Pasco. Marshall wastes no time. Deals home. Strike 3 taken on the outside corner. Strikeout number 9 for David Marshall, and for out number 1 here in the bottom of the 7th. Addison Hull, the number 9 hitter, steps up to the plate.
Batting number 1, Addison Hull, the center fielder Hull.
I'm not sure if not just Kamiakin, but any school could potentially have a better day of athletics in their history than the Braves might be able to enjoy today. As the first pitch is outside, as we mentioned, the softball team has won the softball state championship. Girls track has won the girls track state championship today. And here a chance for number 3. Say good things and bad things come in threes, and we'll see if that's the case for the Braves. Marshall with the 2-0 pitch. That one is swung on, hit down the right field line, and it will fall in for a base hit. Hull just barely able to find a patch of grass, taking it the other way. And the tying run is aboard here in the inning. Eastside Catholic has not led in this game. Kelso took the 1-0 lead in the second, added on to that lead in the third, had a 2-0 advantage. But Eastside Catholic able to score 1 in the third and 1 more in the 5th to tie it up. The Braves, off an RBI single from Logan Jackson, took the lead back in the top of this inning. Lefty on lefty, and a strike is called to TJ Murphy as the Crusaders go back to the top of the order. Murphy reached off an air, was thrown out in a close call at third base, and a pivotal point of the game. It's also popped out and struck out. Marshall's next pitch barely misses, and it's 1-1. 3-2 the score, 1 out, bottom of the 7th. Kamiakin trying to win the state championship. Ground ball to the right. Jackson slides over, able to knock the ball down, but unable to get a play at first. Tries throwing to second, but Hull, not venturing far from the bag, gets back safely. It will be ruled a hit. And not only do the Crusaders have the tying run aboard, they now have the winning run on at first base.
It's a great play by Jesse Hauser right there, the shortstop. It's going to go unnoticed down in the scorebooks, but Hauser had to kind of lunge over to get the throw, the snap throw attempt from the second baseman Shepard, and if it got by him, the third baseman would have had to go back up, and Ord would have vacated the bag, leaving it open easily.
Shepard, the batter, is time is granted at the very last second as Marshall is starting to head towards home plate. Looks back, gets his signs from the shortstop Hauser, who was the starter in yesterday's game, whose gutty performance got them right here to this point. 3-2. Kamiakin with the lead. The first pitch fouled back off the catcher. And interesting to note that Jeff Bowling is on deck. Eastside Catholic not getting one this year, but two walk-off home runs from Jeff Bowling in the playoffs. The 0-1 is down low. Marshall and the partial crowd here at Gesa Stadium in Pasco. Not that Marshall had that one for a strike. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Missing low once more. As there's a collective groan through the crowd. Here's Marshall's pitch, and that one gets up in the zone, catches the inside corner for strike two. Amazing to think here, one pitch could either win the state championship for Kamiakin on a double play, or a home run or even a triple could win it for Eastside Catholic. The 2-2 pitch swung on and missed. Marshall with strikeout number 10, and he inches his Kamiakin Braves one step closer to the state championship. And none other than Jeff Bowling will step up to the plate. Jeff Bowling in 2 straight games, the Metro League semifinals against O'Day and the finals against Bishop Blanchette, hit walk-off home runs. He hadn't had a home run all year long. They had those back-to-back game-winning home runs in extra innings. A home run here would win the state championship for the Crusaders. The first pitch just a bit high above the waist on Bowling. Bowling had the throwing error, which put the runner on in the second inning. They came around to score the first run of the game for the Braves. The next pitch just missing outside, as those first 2 pitches were awfully close. And Early will come out and talk to his pitcher. Bottom of the 7th inning, 3A state championship game, 3-2. Kamiakin with the lead, 2 down. Runners on at first and second for Eastside Catholic. The 2-0 pitch swung on and missed, as I think we just saw a flash of Jeff Bowling's home run swing on that offering. The left fielder, Mockhart, playing quite deep. The 2-1 gets a sliver of the outside corner, and the count now 2-2. As Eastside Catholic is down to not only their final out, but their final strike, the Kamiakin fans get up on their feet. 2-2 count, 2 outs. Time is called, time is granted. And the drama will have to be paused, at least for another moment.
We're reminded to please stay off the field and out of the dugouts until
Logan Jackson, who in the top of this inning drove home, which very well could be the game-winning run. The second baseman goes out and talks to his sophomore pitcher out there. Marshall barely of age to drive, and here he is in front of over 1,000 people with a chance to win the state championship. The 2-2 pitch fouled off. And the battle between Marshall and Bowling continues. The lefty set, the pitch, high and away. And the count now full on Jeff Bowling.
And the runners are going to get to take off with this 3-2 pitch now. Any sort of base hit will likely tie the game, and an extra base hit will make it very easy for Murphy to score from first base, representing the winning run.
Here's the payoff pitch, swung on and a miss. Murphy strikes out Bowling, and the Kamiakin Braves are the 2012 3A state champions. Kamiakin was on life support in the semifinals. Down 5-1, came back in the top of the 7th inning, tied it up, won it in extras. And here in the state championship, behind their sophomore pitcher, David Marshall, the Braves, by the slimmest of margins, 3-2, capture the state championship in front of the hometown crowd here in the Tri-Cities. What a game! And the Braves celebrating as they will meet Eastside Catholic at home plate. What a game we had. Both teams, you could not ask for anything more here in this game. But Kamiakin comes out on top, wins it 3-2, and is the 2012 3A state champions. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll wrap it up here from Gesa Stadium in Pasco. Again, the final score, Kamiakin 3, Eastside Catholic 2.
Hi, we're Chris
And Anna Groneveld, local dairy farmers from Monroe, Washington.
The Dairy Farmers of Washington, along with Les Schwab Tires, are proud co-title sponsors of the WIAA High School State Championships.
The Washington Interscholastic Activities Association supports high school programs and activities that keep our kids growing in mind and body.
Today's high school students will be some of tomorrow's community leaders, and we feel it is important to do our part in helping foster an appreciation of community, responsibility, teamwork, and sportsmanship in today's youth.
The WIAA helps provide those opportunities through athletic, artistic, and academic competition.
Please join the Dairy Farmers of Washington and Les Schwab Tires in supporting young people in your community by attending your local high school state championships.
For a complete list of events and activities in your area, visit WIAA.com.
At Les Schwab, along with great prices, our tires come with the kind of protection most other places just don't give you, which includes free flat repairs, equal value replacements, pre-trip safety checks, and more for the entire life of the tire. With the other guys, well, you just never know. So why is free protection on your tires good to have?
Lifetime protection. That's our best tire value promise. Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
Back at Gesa Stadium is the trophy presentation taking place. The runner-up, Eastside Catholic Crusaders. What a game it was. 3-2 the final score, and hats off to Eastside Catholic and Kamiakin. Just what a great game we just watched. Going back and looking through this game, Kamiakin never trailed, as the Braves were able to jump out on top in the second inning and score a run, helped off by an error. The errors really made the difference in this game, and looking, Kamiakin with 4 errors, Eastside Catholic with 1, but that first error led to the first run scoring in the game. In the second, the Braves were able to add 1 more into that total and give them the 2-0 lead. But Eastside Catholic wouldn't stay quiet for long. The Crusaders came through and helped out by an error, one of the 4 for Kamiakin, were able to get a run. Luke Shepard got aboard, and Braden Walgamot had an RBI double that brought him home. Fast forward to the bottom of the 5th inning. Addison Holt scored as there was a throwing error by David Marshall, picking up the ball, throwing to first, overthrew the first baseman early. That allowed Holt to score. We are locked up at 2 apiece going into the 7th inning. On the top of the 7th, though, Kamiakin was able to come through. Logan Jackson with an RBI single, a 2-out base hit. And Kamiakin took the 3-2 lead, and you couldn't ask for any more drama at the very end in the bottom of the 7th inning. The tying run on at second, the winning run on at first, Jeff Bowling, who had 2 walk-off home runs in the Metro League semifinals and finals, was up at the plate with 2 outs, and with a full count, the payoff pitch, David Marshall was able to notch strikeout number 10. The sophomore wins the state championship, 10 strikeouts. As we see right now, the Kamiakin Braves, the school from Kennewick, playing here at Gesa Stadium in Pasco, right here in the Tri-Cities. Get to enjoy it in front of Jake, which was a very partial crowd. Eastside Catholic, their fans here, great fans and great support, but right here in the Tri-Cities and a huge turnout for Kamiakin.
Absolutely, and Eastside Catholic, looking back at this game, it's going to be one of a few subtleties. You kind of look back at the scorebook, looking down in front of you. 2 of the 3 Kamiakin runs that came in to score did not hit their way on. The first one, an error by the shortstop, Jeff Bowling. That was the run that Andrew Castillo scored in the 2nd inning, and then it was Johnny Jansen who was hit by a pitch by Gillespie in the 7th inning that came around to score. On the other side, offensively for Eastside Catholic, probably the defensive play of the year by Kamiakin, that snap throw from first baseman Nolan Early over to Drew Ord to get the runner coming around. That was T.J. Murphy, who had been bunted from 2nd to 3rd by Luke Shepard. Shepard was out at first, which was the reason why Nolan Early had the ball. He took too big of a turn, did Murphy, around 3rd, and Nolan Early did not hesitate the snap throw, and Drew Ord was there to get the tag down just ahead of Murphy diving back, and it was so close that it started a little bit of an argument on the Eastside Catholic side. Well, that will do it for us today here in the 3A bracket. What a ride it has been on the 3A side. Again, congratulations to the Kamiakin Braves. They fought hard 2 days in a row. Their backs against the wall yesterday, defeating Blanchette in extra innings, and they beat Eastside Catholic today, a final score of 3-2. Hey, I just remembered something. We've got one more game to do. 7 games in the books here at Gesa Stadium. The 8th and final game coming up just under 1 hour from now. That'll be the 4A final between Kentwood, who's warming up down the right field line, and Puyallup. Puyallup stretching out in left field. The 4A final, first pitch scheduled for 7 o'clock, and you can catch that right here on the WIAA network. For Chris King and the entire crew, Bill Rice, Jim Brown, I'm Jake Eastman saying thank you for joining us for the 3A final. We'll see you at 7 o'clock.